We lived in a small neighborhood. It had a dead end that led it to a park. Behind the park are some woods. When we were younger, we all played in the front part of the woods. We never ventured too far back. This area was a well-lit wooded area. One day, my brother, my best friend, and my brother's other friend were all building a dam in the middle of the small creek that ran through the park and the woods. The boys decided they were going to head back to their other friend's house for some snacks. My best friend and I said we would stay. As we were moving rocks around, a strange feeling that we were being watched came over me. Anyways, I brush it off. About 10 minutes later, I get that feeling again, and as I stand up, I see something straight in front of me about 30 feet away. I can't clearly make out what it is yet because it's behind a bush. As I'm scanning up the bush, I start to realize it is a clown. I kid you not. The clown and my eyes lock. He's wearing a blue-red hat with a matching jumpsuit. He's smiling with a full face of makeup, and he's wielding a huge knife. We both say nothing and start running as fast as we can. He sprints after us. We can hear twigs snapping and ground crunching, but we book it. We ran through the front of the woods, through the side of the park and up our street. The other friend and my brother see us running and we're confused. We are still running, screaming for our lives, and finally make it to the middle of the street where my best friend's dad ran at the front door. We explained what we saw and he questioned us. We cried and then told the father again that we saw a clown with a knife. My brother and their other friend mocked us and the father assumed they played a prank on us. All of a sudden, an old yellow car comes from the dead end of the park and pulls right up next to us. Sure enough, plain as day, it's the clown. No hat this time, but knife in hand and demanding us to come here. The father starts shoving us all toward the house and he's scared himself. We get inside and call the police. We were never allowed to go to the park ever again. My friend and I used to talk about this many times. No one would have believed us if the father didn't see it as well. It was pure nightmare fuel. 2016. I was 15 when all the weird clown stuff was happening. My little sister, my mother, and I were headed back home after a long road trip. We stopped at a gas station at around 6 a.m. It was still very dim outside. My sister and I were dead asleep. I and my sister were laying in the backseat. I could perfectly see out of the car windows. After a while, I woke up really groggy, but I was stunned when I heard a horrifying, pitchy laugh that didn't even sound real. At that moment, I thought I was in some weird lucid dream, so I sat up 90 degrees and looked out of the windshield, and there was this man with a red balloon dressed up very similarly to the original Pennywise, but dirtier and cheaper. I watched in actual disbelief as he went up to a 6-year-old girl and her mother, pinched the girl's cheek, got up in her face and started talking to her. All that while her mother was holding her by the hand. The mom hit him and screamed at him to get away, and he started maniacally laughing. Then he skipped over to my mom's car and saw me inside, literally shaking under my blanket. He pressed his face up against the glass and started pointing and laughing at me. I pulled the blankets up above my head. He jiggled the door handle a few times, but thank God our car was locked. The only thing that sent him away was that same mother yelling at him and threatening to call the police. I heard him leave, and when I sat back up, I saw him skipping away and he was still laughing. It almost sounded like gagging at this point. The guy was out of his mind. Later, 45 minutes after he left, we came across an active missing persons search in a forest by the road, not too far away. I have no idea if he was involved, but I remember riding by and feeling like it could have been easily me or my sister.